top scientist here every day, like Dr. Busby that's coming up in the next hour. You see? So I'm aware of all of this information. I know what's going on. I've got my head screwed on straight. But hey, what do they care to their readers? Oh, Alex Jones, the conspiracy theorist. I watched the Reactor 3 MOX plutonium reactor blow sky high, ejecting fuel rods. I went and blew up the plans of it online, blew it up, researched it, got top scientists on. I said, Dr. Busby and others, that looks like fuel rods going sky high, and they said they were storing hundreds of thousands of them, over 200,000 of the 600+ thousand that were stored there on top of that MOX 3. And he said, yes, those are fuel rods being blown sky high. And then I talked to other experts and had them on. Former head of the Star Wars program, had him study the video for us. Then we had top radiologists on and radiation experts who studied the isotope readings coming out of there and said this means fission is taking place, meltdown, the containment cores have been breached. And then months later it came out, 5 of the 6 containments breached, some of them melted out and had complete meltdown and further explosions, but it's just off the news. And I'm the conspiracy theorist when the Environmental Protection Agency raises the level of radiation, in some cases thousands of times what it previously was, depending on the isotope. I say, you know, they said this lower level was not safe. Now they're saying a higher level safe. That's just waving a magic wand, because I have a tiny thimble of critical thinking. I am a conspiracy theorist. The Pentagon says they want to put troops on the streets. Here's the Army Times. Here's Stars and Stripes. Shut up, conspiracy theorist. No, it's the government says they're going to be patrolling America with the military. Shut up, crazy man. But, I mean, it's in the Stars and Stripes. Now they've passed the NDAA to have the military arrest you and you disappear forever. And I can play 5 senators that authored the bill saying that's what it does. And it says it in clear English. And they've got articles out in the news today saying I'm a conspiracy theorist because I know how to read. This is their response because they know the public more and more is like the snot-nosed teenagers who can't even talk, text messaging each other, running around who feel totally empty. But if they could just see a celebrity, their life would be made. It'd be like if they could just find a unicorn. It doesn't do anything to meet a celebrity. It doesn't do anything. They're just like other people. Now, there are painters and artists and musicians and people I'd love to meet, but not because they're a celebrity, because they're an interesting person. And they have celebrity because of their talent. But more and more of these celebrities, it's not even that. They're purely manufactured crud to sell an agenda. And you've got people rioting to buy overpriced shoes that are ugly. And people are teaching their kids, I love you because I got you this. I got you a Connect Microsoft that spies on you. So you can live in a fantasy land with your friends and be a space captain who beats aliens all day, while a real world and a real war is going on against each and every one of us, and the future destiny of this species is being decided, and we have a nation of a bunch of addled, arrested development men and women. And I'll tell you why, because they're jacking the food and water with chemicals and biologicals and radiologicals, and they are jacking our psyche with propaganda and mind-numbing trash, and the brainwaves are lower in the Western world now. The average person is in a dream state, and I am here to break you out of it. If you're giggling hearing this right now, it's because you've been pre-programmed, pal. Now listen to this article. Listen to CBS News. The reporter tied the newsletters to Paul's willingness to appear on the radio program of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. Forget everything I say. Forget me saying it's wrong to torture people's children in front of them. Army's own report. Army report on Abu Ghraib. Just type that in. Read it if you've got the will. How they raped the kids with the battery acid. Oh, yeah. Hellraiser type Jeffrey Dahmer doesn't even approach it. And murdering children and murdering people's wives. And that's what we signed on to. And you're worried about Iran. You better be worried about the globalists who see us as animals, as lower than rat droppings. It goes on. Paul's willingness to appear on the radio program of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, who reportedly accused the government of encouraging homosexuality with chemicals so that people don't have children. He noted that Paul seemed open to Jones' suggestion that the military Northcom Combatant Command is taking over the nation. Gee, that's what a command is a war zone. They say they're going to operate. They're going to arrest citizens. They're now running military checkpoints everywhere with TSA. And this, remember, the CBS is saying I'm crazy while the NDAA and all of this is one of the hottest topics in the news. All of this is happening now. And I'm more of a kook because world government's being announced by the very banks we said that would run it through the derivatives. Exactly as we said. Not hard. It's all trilateral CFR plans. I'm more of a kook because they now admit that BPA is sterilizing people and making men feminine and women hyper-feminine and giving them cancer. I'm more of a kook because they're now putting the TSA and the troops on the streets. I'm more of a kook because I'm right and I'm accurate and I'm real and I've studied history and I know what I'm talking about. And what's even more frustrating is when you find out this propaganda is for people who are in a trance. You read it and you're like, but all of this is admitted. How am I a conspiracy theorist? How do they sit up there with this moral judgment? And if they say it isn't real, it isn't. How do they do that? They do it with childlike, gullible people who they have nothing but disdain and hatred for, who watch, this is a transcript of CBS Nightly News, who sit there and watch it and think, oh, and feel good about themselves. I'm not a theorist like Alex Jones. I trust my government. Honey, get me a big brimming cup of that tap water. Stick me a BPA-lined TV dinner in the microwave and heat it up so I get a mega dose of it. And give me some powdered eggs that are 200 parts per million fluoride in it. Total brain damaging rat poison. Give me some of that, baby, because I'm not going to listen to that bad man. The good news is more and more people aren't listening to this and are kind of waking up from the trance, at least partially. So that's why they're coming out with the SOPA bill, which, by the way, inventors of the internet, Google, Yahoo, all of them admit, yes, it's the end of the internet and the selective shutdown, Chinese-style censorship. It's selective internet kill switch. And Cass Sunstein at the White House says they will shut down people that don't believe man-made global warming's real. I mean, see, here's the thing. We now live in the paradox where it's all happening, but the system has such disdain, they say it's not happening. Like they're a magician and they've hypnotized people. I mean, it'd be so easy just to wake up, see what they're doing, the little man behind the curtain. Now, the reason I get into that is this one line has been a talking point for about 3 years, and I figured it out. They're really scared of this. Because their big enchilada is the hormonal manipulation. They've got electrical going on as well. Dr. Begich breaks that down. But this hormonal agenda is everywhere in their literature, and it's everywhere in the products, in the printer ink, in the tin can linings, in the Coke can linings, in the Pepsi can linings, in the juice box linings. It's everywhere. And that's why men are feminized. That's why breast cancer is off the charts, one of the big drivers. The U.S. is #1 in the world and growing. And there's never a discussion about why is it increasing? What's causing breast cancer to go off the charts? What's causing lung cancer to go off the charts even though smoking in the last 30 years is reduced? What's causing obesity to go up even though people are actually eating less than they did 50 years ago? Do you know that? What is causing all of this? And it's because it's the additives, folks, and it's not just to make it taste good. It's there to addict you. This is a chemical warfare attack. It's a brave new world. But they don't have you like THX 1138 line up for your government dose drugs every day. They do that with the kids now. That's the major plan. It's in everything. And so here is CBS News and hundreds of other publications last week and this week. May I have a document cam shot, please? going over this and saying, Alex says the government's putting stuff in the water to make people gay. And, of course, they don't get into the facts here of my original reports that they boil down to something that sounds silly. Here is a memorandum. This is on record. This is Library of Congress. To the World Population Council, the global Planned Parenthood, from the head of Planned Parenthood, 1969, and published to the full group in 1970. And they say, to reduce population, increase homosexuality. You see that right there? Like, zoom in even more for them, please. Increased homosexuality. You see that? You see, this isn't some moral judgment about what somebody does sexually. This is the point that men have lower sperm counts. This is science. Men have higher estrogen. Men's genitalia size in the last few decades has gotten smaller. All these studies are out there. Men's cancer is increasing just from bisphenol A alone. And guess what? That's only one of many. Fertility control agents in water supply. That's the next point. What does the White House science czar call for in 2 books he's written, Eco-Science and others? Putting stuff in the water to sterilize you. Look at the sperm count dropping. And then you say, yeah, but look at the so-called minority population exploding. They say they're going after those folks. Some people are racist and think that's a good idea. When you get deeper into eugenics, they're actually targeting groups that are seen as more intelligent. They want to wipe out their competition. Just like a grizzly bear will eat male cubs, or a lion will eat male cubs. Sometimes male whales will go and hold a baby male under till they die. That's what's really going on. That's who they're really targeting in their own manuals. And I have the manuals right here. Children that show high intelligence that are males and aggressive and won't be followers, brain damage them. And that's what they do. And it is the ultimate sick society. We're going to read more of these documents straight ahead. Stay with us. So, here's the deal. Ron Paul's great, and I support him. It's, interesting to talk about how horrible Newt Gingrich is and Mitt Romney. But they're all just window dressing. Ron Paul isn't window dressing. That's why they're coming after him. But Ron Paul himself is just a doorway into reality. The rabbit hole goes a lot deeper. I mean, Ron Paul's being criticized in one of those newsletters, talking about, could governments have been involved? And he reportedly wrote, one of his Jewish friends told him he thought Israel was behind it. Well, I mean, it was in the New York Times and CBS News that the FBI ran the whole thing. We know the names. We have the recordings of it. It's public. But again, that's a conspiracy theory to have New York Times, CBS News. It's on record. It's in my film, Road to Tyranny. And so I'm here, and I've got, look at all these documents for folks that are watching us on Prisonplanet.tv. If you're listening on the radio, in the next few days, we're going to do a whole report. We've already shot the report. It's being put together right now. That'll be on YouTube and everywhere else for everybody to see it. For those that can't see, I've got about 50 documents or so here. Government documents. I've got UN